Good morning, and welcome to this next section of video training for FSMail. FSMail, as you know, is based on Google Apps for Education, or Gmail. This session today is going to talk about delegated accounts. Primarily, we're talking about email accounts, and we're talking about accounts. We're talking about accounts where you have been given permission, or you have been delegated authority to act on behalf of some account. Now, there's two basic types of accounts that we're going to talk about. The first one we're going to talk about is an account that you own. Okay? You own this account. So, for example, in my own case, I own the account jcrook@jcrook.com. I also own the account crook@mail.bradley.edu. Yes, I have an account in the student email system. I own the address crook@bradley.edu. That's an alias for my FSMail account. And I also own the account crook@bumail.bradley.edu. I don't want to get overly confused about this, but I want to take you through the process of what happens to demonstrate to FSMail that I own the account jcrook@jcrook.com. We're going to go to Settings and Accounts, and right here you'll notice, and to the left over here it says Send Mail As. The purpose of owning this account in this scenario is actually so that I can send mail from this account as if it were coming from jcrook@jcrook.com. And I'm going to click on this one to add another email address that you own. And I'm going to mark it Chuck's personal account. And I'm going to enter jcrook at jcrook, if I can spell it, .com. I am not going to treat it as an alias, because it really is not an alias for this account. I'm just going to go to the next step, and then it says Send Verification. Now what that's going to do is send an email to jcrook@jcrook.com, and in that email is going to be a confirmation code, and I have to go get that confirmation code and plug it in here to own that account. I'm going to pause the recording for a moment and give that time. Well, that email has now arrived. You're looking at it here right now. You have requested to add jcrook@jcrook.com to your FSMail Bradley.edu account. Confirmation code is 39864085. And I'm going to copy that from here and go back to the other screen where I can enter that code and verify it. Whoops, that says it's incorrect. Oh, I picked up a space at the beginning of it when I copied it. Let's try it again. That looks like it's going to work this time. Verify, then we go back here. And now this is actually done. This is my personal account here. You'll notice that it is there. We're going to go back to the inbox now. Actually, what I'm going to show you is the way you use this is in the compose. When I'm sending an email, there's a from line up here. And now, since there's more than one account, there's a drop down. And I can list that as jcrook@jcrook.com. And for kicks here, we will send an email from this account to my other FSMail account. This is a demonstration. and we'll send it. Now we'll go over to my FSMail account, which should be here now. That email should be here very shortly, at any rate. There it is. There's the email that came in. Now you will notice that this is from Chuck's personal account, jcrook@jcrook.com. There is nothing in the from line to indicate that it's from anything other than my account at jcrook@jcrook.com. Okay? So you can set up any account that you actually own by going through those steps. You can set that up, and you would be able to send from your FSMail account on behalf of or for the account that you own. And that's the first type of account where we talk about delegated accounts. Now, the second type of delegated account, something's wrong back here. Okay, the second type of delegated account is an account that we set up for you. This would be an account like admissions at bradley.edu or admissions at fsmail.bradley.edu. It is an account this is primarily set up for one of two things. One thing is to receive mail from the outside. So mail from the outside, questions to our admissions group should go to a common account like admissions at bradley.edu. And what we'd like to be able to do is have the admissions counselors, the people working in admissions, to be able to process that email that comes into that common account or shared account. And what happens here is that they become delegates of that account. So we have an account called admissions at fsmail.bradley.edu, and multiple people in admissions are able to process that mail. And I'll show you what I mean by process here in just a few minutes. The other reason for setting up an account, a delegated account like this, is to be able to send mail on behalf of someone. For example, the Office of the President account, the Office of the Provost account. I've actually created one for demonstration purposes here that is Office of the APIRT. Okay? Now, these accounts, whether they be for going out or mail being sent out or mail coming in, can actually be used for both. And they must be created administratively by us, by the people in IRT. Once that is done, we also need to assign the delegates, so we give people access to those accounts. And when that happens, what shows up in your email, and in mine right here, this is the FSMail demo account. Whoops, I'm on the wrong one actually. This one is the FSMail demo account, as you can see here. I was in my own personal account there a minute ago over in Firefox. This is Google Chrome. But what shows up here is when you click the down arrow next to the account name, there's another account. This one is Office of APIRT. You see that? And what happens when you click on it, notice there's only one tab open in this window right now. What happens when you click on it is it actually opens a screen in the other account. This is the account APIRT at fsmail.bradley.edu. This is the account FSMailDemo at fsmail.bradley.edu. Now, when you're in this account, this delegated account, you don't have quite access to quite everything. We can get here to mail, but for example, we can't get to the calendar. You'll notice that there's no bar at the top to allow you to switch over to calendar. If we go to settings, You'll notice not all options are here. We can use labels. We can do whatever we like with labels. And that's very useful in a common account like that because, for example, you can set the status of mail that has come in and being processed based on the label that is attached to it. You can also use the stars that are back here. You can turn conversation mode on and off. You can, of course, set a signature block. So you can do an awful lot of things, but you can't do everything. You'll notice there are no labs here. So since you can't turn on labs, that means, for example, that we can't activate the preview pane in this account where we're delegated to it. We can't activate the canned responses, the multiple responses capability that we have in our own accounts. But without worrying too much about what we can't do, let's talk a little bit about what we can do. When we're over here, we can take the email that has come in and we can, of course, assign labels to it to help us track what's going on. We can assign stars to it. If we go back here, I can toggle through stars, which would tell us what to do. For example, something that might be beneficial is a first person. Multiple people, always remember that multiple people can read this account. Perhaps the first person that reads this says, I have no idea what this email is about, and puts a question mark there on it for somebody else to go look at. So that's a very nice thing. Now, I want to show you the difference. I can also send mail from this account. And I'm going to send this to Searook at FSMail. Actually, I'm not even going to do that. Let's send it to FSMail demo. And let's just call this a demonstration email. And we can see that this is actually being sent from this account. Now, if I were over here and I said I own this account, then I could send it from my own email frame over here. What I'm doing in this case is sending it from this one. And I'm going to send it now. And I'm going to show you what happens in the sent mail. This is the one we just sent. I'm going to call it up. And you'll notice that it says Office of APIRT sent by FSMail demo at fsmail.bradley.edu. So in this account, in this shared account where we're all delegates, we can actually see who sent the message to whoever it was sent to. It was from this sent by FSMail demo, and it was sent to, in this case, FSMail demo. Okay? So as you're working in a shared account like this, you're actually able to trace who did what, when, where, and why. All of those things are there for you. It makes it very nice to keep track of the activity, to make sure that everyone who has emailed admissions@bradley.edu or whatever shared account it might be has been properly taken care of and processed. I believe it to be a very strong, very good reason to use these delegated accounts. So that's, in a nutshell, that is delegated accounts. Shows you how to create both. One is this last one that we looked at, of course, has to be done administratively by us, so a need for that needs to be discussed with the people in IRT. The accounts that you own, you can process that yourself and send mail on behalf of that from your own account as if you were in the account that you own. That's all for today. I hope